We are on the road for the first episode of the Paw Report, Season 14, and do we have a surprise for you? The topic is a first for the Paw Report, and it's one that will sure have you oohing and our guests mooing. Come along with us as we travel to the Pandarosa Ranch in Dawson, Illinois.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.
At Tender Touch Grooming, we groom dogs of all sizes and breeds tenderly. Our team pampers your furry friend with care because every pet deserves a tender touch. Appointments are available via text at 217-317-9489.
The Paw Report on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, livestock feed, farm equipment, pet supplies, and more. You can find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
Dave's Decorating Center is a proud supporter of the Paw Report on WEIU. Dave's Decorating Center features the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean Carpet. Dave's Decorating Center, authorized Mohawk Color Center in Charleston.
As we mentioned, we have a surprise for our viewers. Season 14 of the Paw Report. We are on the road for episode 1, and do we have a good one for you? We'd like to welcome to the program Travis Heck. We are in Dawson, Illinois at the beautiful Pandarosa Miniature Cattle Ranch. Now, they've got other stuff too, but we're really here focusing on the miniature cattle. And Travis Heck, the farmer, the rancher that heads this big operation with his family, is joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us. What a gorgeous place you have here.
Well, thank you very much and welcome. Yes, as you can see, we've got several cattle and some other animals as well, but we enjoy it. So thank you.
Miniature cattle, though, and
Yep.
we're gonna tell our viewers all about miniature cattle. But first, tell us about you and your family and how you kind of started in the ranching and the farming.
I guess I didn't grow up in a farming family. My uncle row crop farmed, and I started showing livestock when I was about 14. We started showing and raising pigs, and then we started showing cattle. As we evolved and started showing more cattle, it started to become a passion, and I found an interest in it, and I got to where I started traveling around the country and fitting for other people and helping prepare their cattle to show. And along the way, I had the opportunity to work with some of what I would say are the best in the industry and learn from them. And that's where I learned about genetics and how to artificially breed cattle and embryo transfer, and able to use that knowledge and convert it into the miniature cattle industry. And from there, we started it a little bit as a joke, to be honest with you. And it's continued to grow and evolve into what it is. And it's a lot of fun for our family and for our clients as well.
Yes, and we're here at the Pandarosa Ranch, and I asked Travis prior to us recording, I said there's got to be a story behind the name, and of course there is. So how did you come up with Pandarosa Ranch?
Well, I always grew up watching the Pandarosa, and then our mission was to create panda-colored, cute little cattle. So I kind of converted the two of the panda-colored cattle and the Pandarosa and converted it into the Pandarosa. So that's kind of where it started. And as I indicated, we really started just kind of as a fun with two little cattle, where my mission was to create really cute, tiny show cattle. And that was what I started out doing. And then I realized that the demand was for really cute, tiny hobby cattle. So the show industry really hadn't taken off. Some of our cattle go into a show industry, but the majority are hobby, small acreage, conversation pieces in the front of whether it be a horse ranch or a politician just wanting something a little bit different on their property, to different celebrities that have bought stuff for conversation pieces in their programs. We've sold to pumpkin patches. I mean, just about every walk of life. And it's really opened the doors for our family as well, and to meeting a lot of different people.
When you started the ranch, you had a mission. You know, what exactly is your hope and mission and plan for the ranch right now?
Well, so as you indicated, I had a full-time job, still have a full-time job, and I'm preparing to retire from a career in law enforcement. My wife also had a full-time job in education. She was a school teacher. She stepped away a couple years to assist on the ranch, and then I will be retiring the first part of August and be working out here full-time. And we started out on 5 acres in a little red barn is where we started, and we'd feed calves before and after we went to work. And from there we would take off. Our first help that we had with our program was a college student that was with the Lincoln Land Community College judging team.
You got a little buddy behind you that likes your microphone.
Yep. They're
she
wild, as
inquisitive?
you can see. Yeah, they're pretty hard to handle. But
You had a college student, you said.
Yep. So we had a college student that started helping us, and then as we continued to grow and we increased the amount of cattle, we were able to get in a position where we were at the opportunity to hire a full-time employee, and at this point we have 2 full-time employees and a couple part-time, and then we have 3 kids that help as well. So, and then my wife and I. So between the group of us, we're able to, it's 365 days, 7 days a week. Calves have to be fed morning and evening, irrelevant to what day it is, holidays or weather. Every baby calf gets brought in, tied up, and fed twice a day. So it is time consuming and it does take manpower, but it's an enjoyable job that's just really a lot of fun, and that's really what it comes down to.
I said you probably get razzed by your coworkers.
Oh yeah,
don't
absolutely.
ya?
So I have the nickname of rancher, and it's kind of funny because I'm not really a rancher, I guess. In the middle of Illinois, we're not a real rancher, but in their eyes, you know, the perception is that I'm a rancher because we have
Right.
cattle. But I guess, yeah, we do have a ranch, and I guess by classification, maybe we are. But we raise and sell about 350 babies a year, and a lot of those are natural, and then we also have a lot that are through embryo transfer where we'll utilize surrogate mothers. So we'll take like our best females and flush embryos out of them and put them in basically regular standard commercial cattle, and they'll deliver the sought after calves that we're looking for, which would be like the really small, compact, hairy, cute, different colored calves.
So you mentioned just briefly at the beginning of this, why miniature cattle? You said, you know, to start, they were cute.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's probably evolved. I mean, like this one here is very inquisitive.
Yep.
They're friendly. I
Yep.
mean, there's probably a lot of attributes that kind of drew you to this
This
animal.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we can have more per acre. We can manage them easier. Smaller children can acclimate with them easier due to their size. I started it with the show industry in mind. And I foresaw these cattle as like the starting introduction for kids to learn to show with, and then evolve. Now, some do show, but the majority of them, like I said, are hobby pets. And, you know, we're huge on confirmation that they are structurally correct, but along with that, they have to be, as you can see here, super friendly and socialized well. So it's imperative that the calves are gentle, and when they go to their new homes, it offers the opportunity for our clients to bring agriculture and cattle to their family in a fun manner.
And speaking of fun, I mean, you kind of open up the ranch sometimes to have cuddling events with the cows, and you're doing a camping thing too.
So my son runs our calf cuddling program. All of our information is provided on the website, but he handles all that. People will contact him and make arrangements. They'll meet up with him, and then he'll offer an opportunity for them to come and visit and take pictures and pet the cattle and enjoy them. And then, as you indicated, this fall we're planning to start a cow camping, where we're going to have cabins in rural timber areas where people can come and camp, and also socialize with some of our different cattle that we're going to take out to that location. So we'll see. It's a work in progress and something we haven't really done any of, but I think it'll be fun.
Now, any of the cattle of the breed that you actually trademarked, will that be going to the
Some of those will be. Yeah, we will take some of those.
Can you talk about the breed that you trademarked?
So basically, back to the Pandarosa, how it originated with panda cattle. So we trademarked a Panlander, which is utilizing our panda genetics that we had worked on. We incorporated those into the Scottish Highland cattle. The Scottish Highland are the really cute, hairy cattle with horns that really have become quite popular, and really all of your different traditional magazines and different home decorations. So we wanted the Scottish Highland because of the hair coat. So we started crossing our panda genetics with that Scottish Highland until we got the percent of Highland cattle high enough to get the hair coat, but kept the coloring of our panda cattle. So that was, the Panlander came from a panda and a Highlander. So we brought it together and called it a Panlander. So that was really where it came from. And this fall we will have some of our embryo calves out of that program being born, and we start September 16th with our next Panlanders.
Now, I know obviously when you look at the miniatures, they're tiny compared to standard, cows and bulls.
Yep.
Are there any other differences between the two? I
You
mean,
know,
other than just size?
They mature slower, so reproductively they do take a little longer before you can breed them to raise calves. But the other side of that is they last longer. So we have cows that are in production that are in their 20s, and most commercial cattle, if they're in their mid-teens, are pretty much to where their productivity is going down to where they're no longer useful. But the miniature cattle, because of the high percent of Highland, allows them to be able to be utilized throughout a long period of time. We basically bring all breeds and cross them to get the perfect cute, hairy cattle of every color possible. So I try to create all colors from Highlands, High Parks, Panlanders, and our newest thing we're working on is roans, blue roans, red roans, dun roans, just the roan gene incorporated into our hairy Highland cattle. So that's our mission's really been to make really gentle, cute, tiny, cuddly cattle of every color.
Okay, so let's end it on color and talk about all these specifics to these cattle. And maybe you can start with the little guy behind you, but let's talk about hair and nutrition and height and how small they can be, how tall they can be, how long they live. I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but just the general specifics of these creatures.
So Cliff Note version, there's micro, miniature, and mid-size. A micro is supposed to be under 36 inches at 3 years of age. A mini is 36 inches to 43 inches at 3 years of age, and a mid is 43 to 48 inches at 3 years of age. There's a lot of discrepancies among size and different things, but our goal is to keep them structurally correct, which means they can still go out and perform their job, which is calving unassisted, sound in a pasture, and basically feed conversion. But with that said, we want to keep a really gentle disposition and a lot of hair coat, because our clientele really enjoy that cute, cuddly, shaggy appearance. So for us, it's really about really good structured cattle that are really tiny and really hairy. And we work really hard to seek out and basically reproduce the very best genetics that we possibly can. We try to produce all different colors. Now with the colors, that gets to be a little bit more complicated, but it's kind of like horses. So in our colors of, let's just talk Highland cattle, there's a black, a dun, and a silver dun. Okay, a dun is a dilute of black, and a silver is a dilute of dun. A silver is a double dilute gene. So with that said, a silver animal will always produce dilutes, which is like yellow, silver, and whites, depending on what they're bred with. So when it comes to the genetics and how we cross the cattle, we can look at the progeny and the different coat color of the cattle, and then I'll utilize that to determine what colors we're trying to produce and who will be the best and most compatible for the direction we're going with each selection. So as you indicated, we have a lot of different colors behind us. In a perfect world, I'd like to have every color every time in the barn. Now with that said, it's not always as easy as you may think, because as much as it's predictable, there are also variables that are unpredictable. So you can't always predict the size, the color, and the sex. And right about the time you think that you can, they will humble you. There are some things that are a given. As I indicated, the silver will always produce dilutes. But just because I'm incorporating our panda genetics doesn't always mean that I'm going to get the perfect colored panda. Now, with that said, it doesn't have to be the perfect colored panda. It's just about incorporating that color and those genes into making its own unique colored calf. So it's kind of like a fingerprint on our hands. Every calf has its own unique fingerprint. And from the calves behind us, some might just have a little partial belt, some might have a full belt, some might have a roan patch under their neck, and obviously their base coat colors are all different. So, you know, there are a lot of different variables, and what's fun about this is you have the ability to produce so many different colors. It's not the traditional black Angus to where you see the same every time. This is very rewarding in the terms of we have a lot of fun coming to see what we will get next and what we'll produce. So
excellent. And caring for your herd.
Yep.
You know, obviously it's going to be a little bit different for you as opposed to when you sell one to a client, you
Sure.
know, and what their setup is.
Yep.
But talk about care and feed and maintenance and health and all of that.
So basically our cows that are mature are treated just like any other commercial cow. They're out on pasture. They have creeks, they have shaded trees, they live in the timber. You know, we'll call them up with feed, and you know, every evening when it cools off this time of year due to the heat, they're in the shade hiding and staying cool. In the evening, we'll go out, we'll call them in, just check on everybody. They'll come up to feed. We'll go through and make sure everyone's doing good. We do bottle feed the majority of our calves. The mothers are perfectly good mothers, but our clients want the ability to bond with the cattle. So we bring the cattle in and we bottle feed them twice a day and socialize them so that when they go to their new homes, they are very easy to transition to where those people can provide for the needs of the cattle, which is very basic, and we'll send like a starter kit with every customer. We offer assistance to everyone as well. You know, they've got my phone number. They can call or text with any issues, and we'll provide them assistance to help them through to navigate. And some
Growing
people,
pains.
yeah, some of them are very knowledgeable in the industry and are very familiar with it. Some of them have never owned animals, and you know, both of them acclimate just fine, and it's an easy transition. And you know, it's rewarding for us because we meet a lot of different people
and friends
all over
and-
the United States and various countries as well.
Are they trainable? I like a dog.
In some aspects, yes. Like you can train them to come to you in terms of like receiving a food for reward, but you can't really train them in terms of like potty training or something like that. But they'll certainly learn where they'll come to get food, and they'll certainly learn to be social and friendly.
So they like to be around other cattle.
Yep. They do like to be around other cattle. They also like to be around people because they grow up thinking that we're kind of mom and dad feeding them. So they're very
Right.
social in that aspect to where they love to be around people. So they kind of come up looking for their next food or their next socialization. So they are a herd animal as you indicated. But with that being said, they really enjoy the socialization with people as well.
You mentioned earlier, but I'll ask the question again. It's a wide variety of people
Yep.
that have the interest.
Yep, we sell to basically everyone. We've sold to governors, to celebrities, to backyard breeders that are looking for a hobby just to have to get their own little program started. We have sold to people who just want to get back to their roots of the agriculture industry, and they want to own just a couple cute little cows that are low maintenance and have out in their pasture. And we sell to a lot of kids that are looking to start in the industry and wanting something that is gentle and easy to learn and build confidence with. So yeah, we sell to just about everyone, a lot of pumpkin patches, different places that they'll use them for conversation pieces. We sell to different people on social media because clearly they're really cute, so they're a good conversation piece that people can go out and utilize in that aspect.
What is the most important piece of advice that you tell people that before you get one of these, what should they know? I mean, what should they be prepared for? And I'm sure you do some vetting before you send them on their way with people. But
Yeah, so-
there's things that they need to do their homework.
Yeah, so they really just need adequate shade, and when they go home they just need a smaller area to acclimate in. They don't need a great big pasture because they need a smaller area and a pen to where they can learn who it is that's going to help take care of them. and socialize them. But in terms of care, just adequate shade, fresh water, grass, hay, and bottle fed twice a day. They're actually extremely easy to care for. And the biggest thing is just ask for help if you don't know. We're willing to help you. But in terms of care, they're actually really, really easy to care for.
You've got different animals here
Sure.
on the ranch. You've got horses, you've got donkeys, you've got
Yep.
beautiful Labrador retrievers.
Everybody interacts. So yeah, the dogs, as you can see, they walk
the
in and
dogs
out
been
with
in
the
and out,
calves.
barking
We have ponies that our daughter trains as well. And then we also have horses. So we have all different animals, and they're social, and they interact just like anything else. And they acclimate to whatever their environment's going to be. And in terms of environment, we send them all over the United States and Canada, and we have pretty much every country ask about them, but we don't have the ability to get them to various countries. So we really just stick to sales only in the United States and Canada.
Mm-hmm. You know, you get razzed by your coworkers calling you rancher, but you know, you seem to light up when you talk about the ranch and the cattle.
Sure.
And the horses and the dogs and everything. What gives you the most joy of probably starting this ranch? And maybe you did, maybe you didn't ever imagine that it would evolve to this.
Sure, I would say that's an accurate statement. I didn't ever think that it would be. I mean, I grew up with a love for agriculture, but I kind of had the mentality of, if my dad wasn't a farmer, there was no way I could be, because it's such an expensive industry to get started in. So I never really thought it'd be realistic that I could actually generate a profit in the agriculture industry. So I chose a career in law enforcement, started with that. And as I indicated earlier, I started this as kind of just a hobby, fun joke. And as I got going, I realized that there was a demand for them, and we were able to market them successfully. And as we did, we continued to grow the business. And I'd sell some of our calves, and then I'd buy a few more cows. And then I would just continue with that until we got to where we are, and we would buy a little bit of land, and then we would grow our program, and then we would buy a little bit more land. And you know, it's still currently today, we're still increasing and growing. We actually just closed on the property for camping with cows today. So, you know, as we continue to evolve and look at different ways that we can share our program with other people, that was one area that we thought might be effective. And, you know, we're hoping to introduce that this fall. And, you know, if people enjoy it and it's successful, then we'll probably continue to grow that as well. It's just a way for those that don't have the ability to own a cow to be able to come and spend a night or a week or a weekend with their family and friends enjoying the cattle as well. So.
Well, I think their fear subsides, you know, because, you know, people that don't live in the country, live in the city, they're not used to being around cattle.
Sure.
There is a fear factor there, but
Sure.
if they can get up close and pet them and feel like, oh, they're not so
Sure.
scary.
Yep. Yeah, and they're really not. And obviously a lot of that's a product of their environment. You know, we work really hard to keep them social, to feed them, to make sure that they are very gentle and social in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people that come here that are not familiar with the agriculture industry that leave with a different outlook and a different aspect. And as you can see, we turned off the fans for the interview, but they have a pretty good life. They sit
do.
and so they lay in fans, they get a bath when they get dirty, and they've got it pretty good.
I always ask our guests to share a memorable story or stories. And I'm sure you've got probably loads here on the ranch with the animals in your family, but anything come to mind, maybe a particular miniature cow or a client or a story or anything that you can share with us?
Well, so backing up to when we first started, when I had this idea and I wanted to take one of our miniature bulls to the Beef Expo to put him on display. A lot of people were giving me a really hard time, making fun of me, that grew up with me. They're like, that's dumb. Nobody's going to want to see that, you know. So it was a lot of negative feedback, but I was like, hey, I think it's going to be cool, so I want to do it. So I had another friend come and help me clip it and get it ready, and we took it and set up a display at the Beef Expo, and a friend of mine had actually dared me to do it. So I was getting lunch out of the deal by doing it, but I was like, you know what, let's do it. It sounds fun. So that's how we started, and I took it as a joke into our Illinois Beef Expo and set one up on display. And it actually was like a circus around the calf. Like everybody was very interested in what it was and how small it was and how structurally correct it was. So even the cattle industry thought it was very unique. Now the husbands kind of thought it was ridiculous, but the wives really thought it was cool. So
Kind of
one
a
thing,
designer cow.
exactly. So one thing I found is that, you know, if you win the wives over, you usually
Yep,
are in
yep.
good shape. But so that was kind of how we started. It kind of started as a joke and a dare to take them. And while I was there, I realized that there was a demand and a lot of interest. So that just kind of helped to fuel the fire to keep going in this direction and to keep trying to produce really cool, colored, shaggy, effective cattle that could still go out and at the end of the day be self-sufficient, but be really fun and of different colors to where you would be able to create something that would satisfy anyone's interests.
Yeah, and they are really cool, and we're really privileged that you accepted the invite from WEIU to come to your
Absolutely.
beautiful ranch. Great story, great information about these miniature cattle, and it couldn't have been a better way to kick off season 14 of the Paw Report.
Nope.
Travis Heck, Dawson, Illinois, thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
inviting us
much.
to your ranch today.
Absolutely, thank you.
And of course, thank you, our viewers of the Paw Report. We hope you enjoyed this first episode of season 14 on location in Dawson, Illinois, pretty close to Springfield, I'd say, Travis.
That's correct, 10 miles east of Springfield, yep.
Travis Heck, the rancher, as his coworkers call him. Again, thank you. And until next time, we'll see you, our viewers of the Paw Report.
Dave's Decorating Center is a proud supporter of the Paw Report on WEIU. Dave's Decorating Center features the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk Forever Clean Carpet. Dave's Decorating Center, authorized Mohawk Color Center in Charleston.
The Paw Report on WEIU is supported by Rural King, America's farm and home store, livestock feed, farm equipment, pet supplies, and more. You can find your store and more information regarding Rural King at ruralking.com.
At Tender Touch Grooming, we groom dogs of all sizes and breeds tenderly. Our team pampers your furry friend with care because every pet deserves a tender touch. Appointments are available via text at 217-317-9489.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.